Good morning, Mayor Sylvester Turner, Charles Foster, David Jones, thank you all for your commitment to this very important project. Lucy Baines Johnson, Linda Bird Johnson Robb, it was so wonderful to spend time with you both at the Capitol earlier this week and to hear your personal stories of your incredible father. Thank you both for carrying forth his legacy. And to everyone here today, thank you for coming together to honor his contributions to our nation's history. So I'm joining you from the ceremonial office of the Vice President of the United States, an office that was occupied by 11 vice presidents before me, an office that was in fact first occupied by a quintessential Texan, a legendary leader who served our nation as congressman, senator, Senate Majority Leader, Vice President, and President. And of course, that is Lyndon Baines Johnson. As I sit at this desk, which was once his desk, I am reminded that President Johnson led through extremely difficult times, through national grief, through global threats, through deep-seated injustice. And I believe that there are lessons we can all learn from this monument of a man and apply to the moment we're now in. So in the middle of the Cold War, as the Soviet Union put Sputnik into orbit, Majority Leader Johnson launched his mission to win the space race. Now remember, this was at a time when the United States was barely competing in the space race, at a time when very few were even interested in it. But President Johnson was a visionary. He understood the national imperative of space exploration, both for our global leadership and for American innovation. And so he partnered with President Dwight Eisenhower to create NASA. He pressed for President John F. Kennedy to shoot for the moon, and his support helped lead to breakthroughs like the semiconductor, the MRI, GPS. President Johnson saw what could be, unburdened by what had been, and our nation is better off because he did. That is a lesson we must carry with us as enthusiasm around space exploration continues to soar. I serve as the head of the United States National Space Council, the successor to the National Aeronautics and Space Council, which President Johnson led when he was vice president. Like President Johnson, our administration sees all the ways in which space can benefit humanity. Space can help us tackle climate change, build a diverse STEM workforce, establish an equitable space economy. And that is why today we are working to grow our nation's space leadership, building on President Johnson's early leadership. So that is space. And we all know that throughout his life, President Johnson was equally concerned with earthly matters. He was concerned about poverty. He was concerned about education, immigration, civil rights, and of course, voting rights. In 1965, President Johnson spoke at my alma mater, Howard University. This was 2 months before the Voting Rights Act passed, a landmark law that removed the barriers that kept Black Americans from being a full part of our democracy. And President Johnson, instead of reveling in the pending victory, was already preparing for the next battle, namely, to move from the fight for opportunity to the fight for access to opportunity. He believed, and I quote, that it is not enough just to open the gates of opportunity. All of our citizens must have the ability to walk through those gates. And that remains true today. All Americans have the right to vote, and with it, the opportunity to determine their own future. However, Today, the ability of Americans to exercise that right is under vicious attack. Over the last decade, the Supreme Court has stripped away protections contained within the Voting Rights Act, and states have responded with a slew of anti-voter legislation. I have often thought these past months about what exactly President Johnson would think about what's going on, especially here in Texas, a state that was as sacred to him as the vote is to democracy. Every iteration of the Texas bill would in some way limit vote by mail, drive-through voting, and make it otherwise more difficult to vote. There are similar bills being considered in many other states, bills that would severely limit the options voters have to vote, to make it more difficult for them to vote. And here's the truth. Not everyone can stand in line for hours to vote in person on Election Day, nor should they have to. Americans deserve options to be able to cast their ballot. And that is why President Joe Biden and I are calling on Congress to pass the For the People Act and the John Lewis Voting Rights Advancement Act. Folks, as we dedicate this monument on this 56th anniversary of the signing of the Voting Rights Act, let us pledge to rededicate ourselves to the cause of voting rights, to help all Americans walk through the gates of opportunity, to make their voices heard in our democracy. So I'm going to end where I started. We are surrounded by history, all of us. I'm right here in this office, and you there in Little Tranquility Park. President Johnson once said, and I quote, "We can draw lessons from the past, but we cannot live in it." There are many lessons to draw from the leadership of Lyndon Baines Johnson. And as a testament to match this monument, let us commit to learning those lessons, to honoring his legacy, and to building on that legacy for generations to come. Thank you all, and may God bless you, and may God bless America.